As the band enters the parade deck, we ask that you refrain from crossing the parade deck or crossing in front of the reviewing area. If you must cross, please go to the far ends. Once you have reached the seating area, we ask that you remain seated, keeping the area directly in front of the bleachers clear. Feel free to take photographs and videos anywhere in the seating area. We ask that you silence all electronic devices. Please look around you and do not leave any trash. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, we ask that you exit the parade deck behind the bleachers. Thank you. Officially formed in 1921, Marine Band San Diego has thrilled countless millions throughout the world with its inspiring renditions of traditional and contemporary music. Each member of the band has completed recruit training and maintains combat skills, giving true meaning to the title Marine Musicians. Marine Band San Diego is under the leadership of Chief Warrant Officer 2 Randall Metzinger, Band Officer, and Master Sergeant Gary Robinson, Bandmaster. Today, the band is led on the march by Staff Sergeant Craig Palmer, Drum Major, and is under the direction of the enlisted conductor, Gunnery Sergeant Megan Harper. The pre-parade serenade was provided by Marine Band San Diego, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. The Marine Corps has played an active role in San Diego history ever since the Marines from the sloop of war Cyan seized Old Town during the Mexican-American War in 1846. Marines have been stationed at the Recruit Depot since 1921, when most of the buildings to your front were constructed. These buildings, known as the Arcade, were designed by world-famous architect Bertram Goodhue. The Arcade is among 25 buildings that have qualified for inclusion on the National Register of Historic Places and are outstanding examples of Spanish colonial revival architecture. Since 1933, More than 1 million Marines have completed their recruit training here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and since 1915 at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island in South Carolina. Regardless of where a Marine attended boot camp, you can rest assured that they have received the toughest, most physically and mentally demanding recruit training offered anywhere in the world. Some individual techniques and methods have evolved over the years, but the focus and adherence to our core values of honor, courage, and commitment are as strong today as any time in our history. Today, the Marines of Company L accept the responsibilities to safeguard this proud tradition as they step forward to join this rich heritage. Ahead of them lie bright futures that will no doubt add to the proud Marine legacy that they now rightfully claim as their own. Private Bruno is a 7-month-old, full-blooded English Bulldog born in Fallbrook, California on October 22, 2022. He is named after Major General Bruno Hochmuth, who at the time of his death was the first general officer killed during the Vietnam War. Major General Hochmuth was also the commanding general of the depot from November 1963 to February 1967. General Hochmuth was awarded the Distinguished Service Medal, the Legion of Merit with Combat V for Valor, the Navy Commendation Medal with Gold Star in lieu of Third Award, and the Purple Heart with Gold Star in lieu of Third Award. Private Bruno continues the tradition of a long line of Marine Corps Bulldog mascots dating back to 1921, when Brigadier General Smedley Butler appointed Sergeant Major Jiggs as the first Bulldog mascot for Marine Corps Barracks, Quantico. Private Bruno is being escorted by the Office Communication Strategy and Operations Corporal Joshua M. Dreher. Spiritual development plays an important part in the making of a United States Marine. Lieutenant Eliseo Morales, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will deliver the graduation prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Let us pray. Mighty One, we thank you for your presence here today. We give you thanks for the young men of Lima Company who came in as recruits and are leaving as Marines. Through hard work and perseverance, they now join the family ranks of the finest fighting force on earth. Within each and every one of them runs the war-fighting spirit of a Marine that never gives up, no matter the odds. We thank you for their friends and family who provided support with thoughts, prayers, and letters of encouragement. May they rejoice in this great celebration. We give you thanks for these drill instructors, for they have made Marines. Through leadership, discipline, and sacrifice, they have instilled within each and every one of them the honor, courage, and commitment that is woven into the very fabric of this Corps. It is because of these drill instructors that these new Marines can now live out their great honor traditions to always be faithful, first to fight, and most ready when the nation is least ready. May they enjoy their well-earned rest. Mighty God, we thank you for your presence once again, and as always, we ask that you continue to bless this Corps and country, now and always. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Take your post. Aye, sir.
The Commanding General, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, welcomes you to what is a historical event in the life of a Marine, their graduation from boot camp. Approximately 40 weeks each year for the past 100 years, new Marines have departed San Diego for service with units of the Marine Corps around the globe. The primary mission of the Recruit Depot is to provide basic trainings to recruits enlisted west of the Mississippi, which represents approximately 51% of all applicants in the Marine Corps each year. The depot is also home to Recruiter School and Drill Instructor School. All of our efforts here are geared toward one end, producing America's finest fighting force, the United States Marine Corps. This morning, Company L, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment will form and march in the parade. Following the pass and review, the graduating Marines will return front and center of the reviewing stand for final dismissal. The staff for today's parade is comprised of Marines from the Recruit Training Regiment. The commander of troops is First Sergeant Julio A. Agallo, Company First Sergeant, Company L, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion. The parade adjutant is Sergeant Jose A. Saceo, Drill Instructor, Company L, 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment.
Attention!
The marching units are now being called to attention, and the adjutant's command, sound adjutant's call, will begin today's parade.
Adjutant call!
Marching in today's parade are 207 of the graduating Marines from Company L. Among the 207 Marines are 2 Marines who displayed outstanding performances in 2 individually graded events. Private First Class Nicholas G. Flynn from Platoon 3251 is the company high shooter, scoring a 340 out of 350. Private First Class Trishan P. Bailey from Platoon 3253 is the most physically fit Marine, scoring a 300 out of 300 on the physical fitness test and a 300 out of 300 on the combat fitness test. They will be receiving awards from the Marine Corps Association and Foundation. Present today is the company undergraduate recruiter, Staff Sergeant Francisco Rodriguez Hernandez. Also present today is a primary marksmanship instructor with a platoon high shooting average of 226 out of 250 for Platoon 3253, Sergeant Benjamin H. Jones. Recruit training is comprised of subjects required to produce basic Marines who function effectively in garrison, are trained in rudimentary individual field and combat skills, and practice the personal and professional traits which distinguishes them as Marines. Examples of these traits are discipline, the achievement of self-control and self-awareness which assures respect for authority, instant and willing obedience to orders, and the self-reliance to maintain or improve those traits which exemplify a Marine. Military bearing, consistently demonstrating military presence and personal awareness, as well as the proper wearing and maintenance of uniforms. Esprit de corps, acquiring the common spirit of the Marine Corps that inspires enthusiasm, devotion, pride, initiative, teamwork, aggressiveness, determination, moral courage, integrity, camaraderie, and the burning desire to work with and for others towards excellence in common goals. For 247 years, Marines have fought and won whenever and wherever the nation calls. In the harshest conditions, over the most brutal terrain, and against the most formidable enemies, Marines defend the ideals of freedom with grit and tenacity. Although battlefields change and capabilities evolve, history proves that true victory comes from the individual Marine with steeled resolve, the drive to overcome any obstacle, and the warrior spirit to fight on against all odds. It takes that steadfast faithfulness, semper fidelis, to corps, country, and each other that abounds throughout our storied legacy. Marines today remain in combat, forward deployed throughout the world, confronting every challenge with courage, loyalty, and faithfulness. They are resolved to be the most ready when the nation is least ready, to defend freedom anytime and anywhere, to stand ready to aid those devastated by natural disasters, to pay tribute to those who have forged our proud legacy, and to honor the families and loved ones who faithfully stand beside us. For the Marines graduating of Company L, today marks the end of the 13-week training cycle. They have marched countless miles at Camp Pendleton, as well as on this parade deck, and have been trained, as are all Marines, as basic riflemen. In addition, due to an intensive physical training program, their strength and endurance have doubled since their arrival aboard the Recruit Depot. They are Marines, qualified to take their places in the ranks of the world's finest fighting organization. The platoons are now being aligned from left to right in order to get them into their exact positions for the parade. The next portion of the ceremony will be our national anthem. We welcome veterans and members of the armed forces to join us in rendering appropriate honors with a military salute. For guests who have not served in the military, it is proper etiquette during the national anthem to place their right hands over their hearts, and for those in the audience wearing headgear, to remove it. Will the guests please rise for the presentation of the colors? Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Following the command, hoist the colors. The color guard moves into position within the parade. This signifies that the entirety of the parade has been formed and is ready to be presented to the command. Following the command, parade rest. The parade adjutant will give the command sound off, which signals the band to parade forward of the assembled Marines while playing military marching music. The parade adjutant now presents the assembled command to the commander of troops.
Sir, press forward. Aye, aye, sir. Series 3,249. All present. Sir, all present on count of order. Open the order. Aye, aye, sir. Attention! New orders! Headquarters! Recruit Training Battalion! Recruit people! Pendleton, California! 2-2-2-3. The officer designated.
At the command, officers center march. All unit commanders and guidon bearers march to the front and center of the formation. Historically, it was at this point that commanding officers would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Following this, the unit leaders would face about, return to their units, and pass the information along to their Marines. Throughout our nation's history, millions of men and women have earned the title United States Marine. Many who have helped shape our history join us here today. In keeping with the tradition of once a Marine, always a Marine, we would like to recognize them. At this time, those in the audience who have served as Marines, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for their dedicated service to Corps and country. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Battalion Commander for 3rd Recruit Training Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher A. Ashenhurst.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, distinguished guests. On behalf of the Commanding General of the Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General Ryans, as well as the Commanding Officer of the Recruit Training Regiment, Colonel Jones, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for Company L. It is also my distinct pleasure to introduce our parade reviewing official, our Depot Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major Leal, who later today will retire after 30 years of faithful service. Sergeant Major, not only is it an honor to have you with us today, but we thank you for what you've done for this Corps and country. Now, I'd like to take a few moments to talk about why I am so proud of the young men you've come to see graduate. But first, let me draw your attention to these impressive Marines wearing those distinctive green campaign covers. They certainly do not need an introduction from me, for we all know them as the legendary Marine Corps drill instructor. From the moment a recruit arrives aboard the depot, there is a drill instructor with them, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, everywhere they go. For it is the drill instructor that is the heartbeat of what it takes to transition a civilian into United States Marine. Of the thousands of people we will meet throughout our lives, let's be honest, most of them we will forget. But no Marine anywhere will ever forget the name, the face, or the gentle, loving voice of their drill instructor. Also, seated by the reviewing stands are the families of the officers and drill instructors of Lima Company. These families know firsthand the time, dedication, and sacrifice it takes to make Marines, and we could not do it without their love and support. So would you all please join me in a round of applause for the families of Lima Company. We also know that making Marines is a team effort, and it all begins with the hard-working Marine Corps recruiters who are spread throughout this great country of ours. Today, Marine Corps Recruiting Command is represented by Staff Sergeant Rodriguez of Recruiting Substation, Arlington, Texas. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez was the recruiter for our company honor graduate, Private First Class Flores. It was Staff Sergeant Rodriguez who first gave PFC Flores the opportunity to earn the title Marine. Outstanding job, Staff Sergeant. Now let me turn my attention back to the remarkable young men standing in this formation behind me. They are truly some of the best this country has to offer. When they arrived here, they were young and fit, 19 years old on average, and already in better shape than most people their age. 95% of them are high school graduates. 3 of them have already earned a college degree. But furthermore, they displayed a courage and a commitment that most of their peers could never muster when they raised their right hand and swore that solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. They come from every expanse of the globe, in this case 12 different countries. Some are from as far away as South Africa or Iran. Others are from just across the street here in San Diego. But it was a single goal that brought the 207 of them together, and that goal was to earn the title Marine. 3 months ago, they embarked on the world's most demanding entry-level training as they got off those buses and they stepped foot into our historic yellow footprints. And trust me, throughout their time here, they have undoubtedly been tested. They have been trained and evaluated in the attributes that make the Corps both unique and deadly. We have developed in each of them a physical and mental toughness that will never quit or give up, despite the odds. They've been indoctrinated in our core values of honor, courage, and commitment, so that we create Marines of exemplary character both at peace and at war. They've been trained in battlefield-tested warfighting skills so that when this nation calls, its Marines always win. And thanks to the marksmanship instructors at Weapons Field Training Battalion up in Camp Pendleton, when these Marines arrive on their objective, they are capable of delivering precision rifle fire at a pinpoint target at staggering distances out to 500 yards. Today, Weapons Field Training Battalion is represented by Sergeant Jones, who was the marksmanship instructor for our high shooting platoon, Platoon 3253. Outstanding job this cycle, Sergeant Jones. And finally, we created small unit leaders out of each of them, and we evaluated their ability to decide, act, and communicate with a bias for intelligent action, for that is what the future operating environment will demand. Now, in addition to all of that, I hope that yesterday you noticed a few other upgrades we've installed. They should have stood a little taller. They certainly looked a little leaner. They should have looked you in the eyes and said these strange phrases like, "Yes, sir," "Yes, ma'am." Moms and dads, it should be a long time before you have to tell one of these Marines to get a job or a haircut, and I assure you that they know how to clean up after themselves and make their beds. But it is the change within that we are the most proud of. For after having been indoctrinated in our core values, and then by virtue of the fact that they are standing here today, means that they've embraced those values as their own. And so it is because of this journey they have made, because of the physical, mental, and moral development they've displayed, which was built upon the foundation that you all laid, that I am proud to present 207 young men who through their own blood, sweat, and tears can now and forever claim the title United States Marine. And now, if you'll excuse me for a moment while I address our new Marines one last time. Good morning, Marines. Did you all hear that? That is pure pride. That is pride in themselves, pride in the title that they have earned. Now, Lima Company, I know when you arrived here so many weeks ago, the last thing on your mind was graduation. You were probably thinking, what in the world have I gotten myself into, and how do I get them to stop yelling at me? But you stand here today as America's newest Marines, having accomplished something that most would never dare attempt. And when you get home this weekend, people are going to look up to you. They're going to be proud of you, as they should. And your friends are going to ask you how you did it. And when they ask you that, I want you to take them for a walk down to your recruiting station and introduce them to your recruiters. Because I can promise you, your drill instructors, well, they would love to meet your friends. But remember that with this new title comes a great responsibility. For the strength of the Marine Corps is not found in a weapon system or piece of equipment. It is found in the warfighting spirit of the individual Marine. That is what matters most in combat, and that is what makes us different. This world is a dangerous and chaotic place, but that is why we have you. And the legacy of our Corps of not only being the first to fight, but to always win, belongs to you now for safekeeping. That Eagle Globe and Anchor that we handed you on top of the Reaper represents 247 years of all of the Marines that have gone before you. So be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you have accomplished, but remember who you now are and who you now represent, and always remember to protect what you've earned. So on behalf of the officers, the drill instructors, and all of the support personnel here aboard Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, let me be the first to wish you fair winds, following seas. Semper Fidelis, Marines, welcome to our Corps.
Now taking his position in the reviewing area is today's parade reviewing official, Sergeant Major Abel T. Leal, Sergeant Major, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and the Western Recruiting Region. He's accompanied by Sergeant Major John J. Miller, Sergeant Major, Recruit Training Regiment.
Stack. Present. Sword. Stack. Order. Sword. Order. Ha!
Sergeant Major Abel T. Leal, Sergeant Major, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and the Western Recruiting Region. Sergeant Major Leal reported to Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California in 1993 for recruit training. Upon graduation from Assault Amphibian School, he received the MOS of 1833 Assault Amphibious Vehicle Crewman. Sergeant Major Leal has served in a variety of challenging billets in numerous commands to include Section Leader and Platoon Sergeant for 3rd Assault Amphibious Battalion, Drill Instructor, Senior Drill Instructor, and Chief Drill Instructor for Gulf Company, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, Recruit Training Regiment, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. First Sergeant for 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines. Sergeant Major for 1st Reconnaissance Battalion. Sergeant Major for Marine Aircraft Group 16. Sergeant Major for Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and the Western Recruiting Region. Sergeant Major Leal is now retiring after 30 years of faithful service. Sergeant Major Leal's personal awards include the Military Service Medal with Gold Star in lieu of second award, the Marine Corps Commendation Medal with Combat V device and 2 Gold Stars in lieu of third award, the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with Gold Star in lieu of second award, and the Combat Action Ribbon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sergeant Major Abel T. Leal.
Serve the parade as war. Marksman Commander review. Aye, aye, sir. Staff. Carry. Sword. Hey! Hey! Bingo! Hey! Hey! Aye! Hey!
The pass and review is a tradition within all military units, allowing the unit commander to formally and fully inspect the unit under their charge. More than 1 million Marines have been trained here in the past 100 years and have departed San Diego for combat in conflicts around the world, including places whose names are immediately associated with Marine courage and dedication. Names such as Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Iwo Jima, Busan, Incheon, Chosin Reservoir, Quezon, Way City, Lebanon, Grenada, Panama, Kuwait, Somalia, Fallujah, Ramadi, Marja, Sangin, and our most current operations worldwide. This parade deck is rich in history and tradition, and no Marine trained here ever forgets its sights and sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, as the national flag passes directly in front of you, please rise. Once it passes, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Troops, First Sergeant Julio A. Agallo, and the regimental staff. Marine Band San Diego, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, California. Series 3249, Series Chief Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Benjamin M. Langlois. Platoon 3249, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Andreas M. Mora. Platoon 3250, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Samuel N. Oriana. Platoon 3251, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Demetrios M. Molia. The Regimental Color Guard is led on the march by the Regimental Color Sergeant, Drill Instructor, Sergeant Emmanuel J. Crisp. Series 3253, Series Chief Drill Instructor, Gunnery Sergeant Alice Garcia. Platoon 3253, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Enrique Flores. Platoon 3254, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Jorge A. Davila. Honor Platoon 3255, Senior Drill Instructor, Staff Sergeant Christian L. Dennis. Ladies and gentlemen, if you turn to page 21 of your graduation pamphlets, you will find the Marines Hymn. The Marines Hymn has a history dating back to 1859 and has a long-standing tradition for Marines to face the direction of the music and stand at attention when it is heard. It is now directed that all Marines present and who have served honorably, and ladies and gentlemen, you are all encouraged to join. Sing the words to the first verse as Marine Band San Diego performs Anchors Away, followed by the Marines hymn. Will the guests please rise? Thank you. Please be seated.
This concludes today's parade. Yes, sir. Step. Dismiss.
The Marine Corps' uniqueness and strength as an elite fighting force is directly attributable to the magnificent efforts of the drill instructors and company officers who train and supervise the recruits. The distinct qualities of spirit and discipline, the heart and soul of every Marine have been developed, nurtured, and ingrained in recruits through their observance and relationship with their drill instructors and officers. Recruit training is the very foundation of the Corps. Each year, recruit training provides thousands of America's finest young men and women with the basic knowledge and skills to function in a profession characterized by its own set of high values and tough standards. The most important thing we do in the Marine Corps is make Marines. The individual Marine is the Corps. That is what we do here. For the Marines graduating today, the long, arduous journey of the last 13 weeks is but a small step into the future of the Marine Corps. As they prepare to fill the ranks of our Corps, they do so with unquestionable support for the high ideals and standards of the United States of America and the United States Marine Corps. Although Company L prepares for their final dismissal from boot camp, their initial training is not over. Soon after graduation, they will report to the School of Infantry, Camp Pendleton, California, where they will continue to be trained to serve as an effective member of a Marine Rifle Squad. The intense initial training that every Marine undergoes is designed to instill the fundamental premise that every Marine is a rifleman. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to introduce to you the Marines responsible for ensuring the success of the difficult transition required to become a Marine. The company commander is Captain Matthew H. Cole. The company first sergeant is First Sergeant Julio A. Agallo. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the company staff of Company L. The next portion of the ceremony will be the traditional function of retiring the guidons.
Guide! Center! Put!
The guidons have been carried by the platoons throughout recruit training and are being retired to symbolize the disbanding of platoons. All similar units in the Marine Corps carry such guidons, which identify the unit and are a source of pride to each individual member. Note that the honor of carrying these guidons is bestowed upon those Marines who displayed outstanding leadership qualities, motivation, and character, and were selected as a platoon honor graduates. The platoon honor graduates compete for the titles of series and company honor graduate. They are considered the top Marines graduating today and have demonstrated the highest potential for future leadership and responsibility in the Marine Corps.
Center! Face! Forward! Hut! Order! Get up!
The guidons will now be returned to the drill instructors. The honor graduates will now be presented a plaque by the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Christopher A. Ashenhurst, and the battalion sergeant major, First Sergeant Stephen S. Jackman. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until all honor graduates have been recognized.
Present! Up! Order! Up!
The honor graduate for platoon 3,249 is Private First Class Gustavo Gonzalez from El Paso, Texas. The honor graduate for platoon 3,250 is Private First Class Kyson H. Olican from Hurricane, Utah. The honor graduate for platoon 3,251 and the company honor graduate is Private First Class Seth E. Flores from Fort Worth, Texas. Private First Class Flores is also the recipient of the Chesty Puller Award for his outstanding meritorious performance while in recruit training. The honor graduate for platoon 3,253 is Private First Class Tristan P. Bailey from Westfield, Indiana. The honor graduate for platoon 3,254 is Private First Class Jesse E. Aguilar from McAllen, Texas. And the honor graduate from platoon 3255. And the series honor graduate is Private First Class Walker J. Montoya from El Paso, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, the honor graduates of Company L.
Sir, company first sergeant reporting as ordered. Dismiss the company. Aye, aye, sir.
The company first sergeant will now give the command to the senior drill instructors to dismiss their platoons. Needless to say, this will be the most welcome command they have received throughout recruit training.
Senior drill instructor! Dismiss your platoon! Aye, aye, first sergeant!
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, please do not cross the parade deck and utilize the far ends. Pick up any trash around you and utilize all waste receptacles. Please start making your way towards the parking lot, utilize the walkway behind the bleachers, and go behind the yellow curb. Your Marine has been briefed on meeting you in the parking lot behind the yellow curb. Please keep in mind the level of training your Marine has received and afford the same opportunities to those in the training area by removing any congestion in the walkway behind the bleachers. Please do not take any photos or videos of recruits in training. Once again, please do not cross the parade deck.